So, what do you really need to start your photography journey? Well, the simple, maybe a little bit boring, but true answer is what you have. So let's get started right away. The truth is that you actually don't need any fancy high-tech gear to get started. You can use whatever camera that you have, even if it's only your smartphone. Many times we get stuck in this I need to have this before I can start mentality. When we are there, it is hard to actually get going because we are just waiting. If you have maybe photographers that you follow or that inspires you and you see what they have in their gear setup, you might think that I need to have that to get their quality of photos. And in one sense, that is true, but we'll come to that a little bit later. But the main point here is take what you have and use it. So, if you now have something to use to photograph with, and whatever gear that might be, how do you now work it through? Well, I would encourage you to see this first time, this beginning time, as a learning process or a learning season, because we all have to start somewhere, right? So take your time learning how to use different compositions, how to use different kind of lights, and really try to teach your eye to see what is needed in the photos that you are trying to create. So no matter what camera gear that you have, learn to take the photos in that genre that you want to photograph in. If you want to start out with nature or landscape or wildlife, go outside. Learn how to find those places that makes good pictures. So just try to photograph everything. Just learn by doing. And if it's portraits, try to borrow a friend or ask someone if they would like to participate, and so you can practice on guiding that model, trying to make that person comfortable in front of the camera, because that is very important when you're a portrait photographer, that the one that you are photographing feels comfortable and safe and secure having you behind the camera and being in front of the camera. So if you have your smartphone, start with that. Use that to find good lighting and everything. But the main point is to just get going, just start. You have to start somewhere, and it has to be now. Another thing that you can do, which is something that is not depending on your gear. You can do this even if you don't have any camera to use. You can still, in every area of photography, educate yourself. So even if you're waiting for your first camera, maybe you have a smartphone that is broken so you can take photos, or whatever the reason, you can still start educating yourself within photography. So if you don't have any cameras to start practicing with, start learning and educating yourself in composition, in light, about colors, about portraits or weddings or landscape or whatever genre you want to focus on. Or if you want to be a studio photographer, learn how to make that setup. Here on YouTube, for example, there are so much information that you can find in the waiting before even having a camera. So you can make your education by yourself. So when you have your camera finally, you can just start applying the things that you have learned. And of course you have to do this even if you have a camera. It's good to educate yourself, but do it in a way that you like it. Either if it's YouTube or a course or by a school or whatever it can be. But you have to also get the knowledge that you need to practice and make that work together. And you can even learn about editing, how to sell your photos, marketing if you want to make it your business. So you can learn so much even if you can't start photographing right now. And I also want to bring up a personal example of this situation. A couple of years ago, I decided I wanted to learn how to play the cello. But the problem was I didn't have the instrument or the money to actually buy the cello. So what did I do? I went online and I searched everything I could about playing the cello for beginners. How to hold the bow, how to move the bow on the instrument to make the sound in the proper way, how to position my fingers, everything. I even practiced on a chair to feel how it would feel. Maybe a little bit overkill, but it helped so much. So when I finally got my cello, I could start practicing what I have been learning. So I had a good foundation to start building upon. And that is the same with the photography. If you have good basics, then it's easier, like how to manage all the settings and the lights and everything, then it's easier to start actually applying it practically too. So just start learning. Even if you can't put it to practice just yet, but start educating yourself and learning the theory behind the craft. In every skill that you try to learn, and there is a beginning, right? Even if it's painting or photography or learning an instrument, everything has a start, and you have your struggles and you have your challenges. And my advice to you in photography, don't give up, or whatever skill that you want to apply it on. But don't give up. It might not be perfect in the beginning, or rather, it will not be perfect in the beginning. But just keep on going. Even if you feel like you have failed, see what mistakes you did, learn from them, and keep going and keep developing and keep exploring new things. But learn from your failures and make it to something better next time. Because it's always good to evaluate what you have done, even if you feel good about it, just to see what is it about this photo I actually like, and why does this picture not feel so good? How did I fail in this one? So everything is a learning process, but don't give up. And last but certainly not least, don't compare yourself to others. Usually we tend to compare to maybe photographers that we follow or that inspires us, or photographers that have the results that we aim for. And this is good in one way, because it's good to get inspired by other photographers. But when we start to compare ourselves to them, then it can start to get a problem in this area. Because probably that photographer has much longer experience than you have. He or she might have better gear than you. That sometimes actually matters. And they have probably taken so many photos more than you have. So to compare your photos with professionals is not always a good thing. It can teach us things and see what we have missed, but it can also bring us down more than it lifts us up. So instead, I really encourage you to compare yourself with yourself. Compare your own journey from where you started to where you are right now. Then you have a good foundation to stand upon in your own development. Because it is very easy to get a little bit blinded by your own progress. So when you start to bring up those old photos that you started with, comparing with the ones that you have now, you will see a really big difference, hopefully. And if you don't, maybe you need to analyze that too. But usually we focus so much on the goal that we forget the process that we are in. And it's good to sometimes just stay for a while and just see what has been happening and how you have been developing during this time. And by doing that, that will lift you up because you see that you are doing the progress that will eventually take you to your goal. So, with all of this said, don't get too fussy about what gear you have or the things you might think that you need to get started. Because your photography journey starts when you start. So it's important to just get going, get out there and try to experiment and learn new things, fail, do some successes too. But it's most important that you just start and keep trying, even if it doesn't work out the first time as you want. And if you want to get more photography tips or maybe get inspired by my own photography journey, I've been a portrait and wedding photographer before, but now starting with nature and landscape. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. But thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments if there's any subject you want me to bring up next time. Otherwise, see you soon and take care.